Welcome back to The Division 2. In this video, I want to tell you about the Summit mode and how it's a complete waste of time. Please do not waste your time playing this mode. It's just going to be boring, tedious. I'm tired. Mentally and physically tired. Not just because of the mode, but because of how the game's being handled yet again. I just want to put this out there before I get into anything else. I've written a list of just different points that I can talk about just off the top of my head, and I put something towards the bottom, but I'm going to bring it up first just so that you guys understand. I did enjoy this mode, but only the once. It's not replayable. It's not supposed to, I don't know why they've said it's replayable, because it really isn't. They've deemed it as highly replayable content, but there's just no point. It's absolutely not worth your time. But I did enjoy it, probably even more because I played with my mates and we had a laugh. But this mode, I can see it just from playing it myself. I can see how much potential the mode has, but these developers do not know what they are doing. For an example, the higher you go, the bigger the floors get. It's like you're playing inside an upside down pyramid. I've said this in another video. Go back on the channel and have a look through the video I posted about how there's more bugs than there was fixes. I literally put together a list of more bugs from just this mode alone than the bug fixes they implemented with Title Update 11 across the entire game. My list was bigger, and it just took me one playthrough of floor 1 to 100. When I went back, because I didn't actually complete 100 the first time, I got a server restart back down to 91, so we quit for the day. But when I went back, and I've now completed 100, that's the gameplay you're seeing, I went back and I encountered even more bugs. Bugs that we didn't encounter before. Simple things as well, like progression blockers, objectives not working, just stupid stuff like that shouldn't be in the game, but it is. I don't know why it's in there, and you can't fucking defend it either, because they said they worked on it for months and months. They said that they put a lot of time and effort into this mode. You can instantly tell it's a load of shit. But not only that, they put it through private servers, and they also put it through 2 waves of a PCS, and it's still come out like this. There was absolutely no attention put into this mode. So I'm going to skip on to the other notes now. It's just literally, it's 100 floors of copy-paste that's filled with bugs, and there's a lot of inconsistent enemy movement. Enemies are hitting like absolute trucks. If you stand there in the middle of a highway and you get slammed in the face by a fucking 18-wheeler, that's what it feels like. It's so heavy, the amount of damage they are putting into you. It's just down after down after down. It's tough. I think it took us 15-20 hours, and yeah, I don't care if people have done it faster. We still managed to get it done. We got fucked over by a server restart. We've had several wipes that weren't our fault, like floor 99 back down to 97 because of objective bugs. Next up is the fact that there is absolutely no reward for the time and effort you are putting into this mode. Absolutely none. People will think, oh yeah, you get to floor 100, you get some cool stuff. You get an arm patch, a backpack trophy, and a gear die. The gear die is teal, there's like a greeny bluey colour. The arm patch looks like fucking shit. And the backpack trophy, as much as I hate them, I can't even see it. I can't see it because it's hidden by my skill. But you don't get anything other than those 3 things I mentioned. A little bit of XP and possibly a named item or something. That is all you get for getting your way to floor 100 and completing the mode. And I know, once you've done it once, you can go straight back in from 91 to 100, but that is not the point. In this context, I'll put some context behind it so that you understand my meaning of there being absolutely no rewards. The rainbow loot that the masses of the player base have been complaining about for a long time now, possibly 2 months, something like that, maybe even a little bit longer. I killed a hunter. A hunter is the hardest enemy type in the game. They're like rogue agents on steroids. I killed one. You'll even see it in this video. I don't know when you'll see it in the video, probably towards the end as I was checking the loot. But you will see, I got 2 rainbow drops off a hunter. They're the hardest enemies by far in the game. And I got 2 rainbow drops. A double rainbow loot drop off a hunter. That's all you're going to get. You might as well go play heroic difficulty missions. Gonna save you a shitload of time. You're gonna get the same rewards, if not better. This is I'm basically gonna say this is like a raid. You're doing 100 floors, or however many floors you decide to do for the very first time. And by the way, if you did choose to play on 51, well done. The devs didn't tell you, but you've just missed out on a chance to get the exotic. I'll explain that in a moment. They've locked stuff behind this content. Well, I say they've locked stuff. They've locked the Ridgeway's Pride exotic chest. only a small amount of players will actually complete this mode, because it goes from normal up to legendary difficulty, and then on floor 100 you have several waves of legendary difficulty enemies, and then you go through and you have to take down the hunters. And floor 100 has to be done simultaneously. You can't get through to the hunters and then grab a checkpoint there. Doesn't work like that. If you wipe on them hunters, you're back to the beginning of floor 100. But I can tell you right now, with how hard they're hitting, the lack of cover not working, stupid bugs, it's going to be a grind, a very, very long grind, and only like the best of players will complete it. It's going to be very, very tough for those of you that haven't got to the top yet. It's not going to be a fun time. Next up is the fact that the summit didn't actually need to be based in New York. They didn't have to lock it behind the expansion, because you can actually access it from Washington DC. They've put in a fast travel location on the DC map. So you have, what is it, Coney Island, you've got like Manning National Zoo, where you just hover over them on the map and fast travel there. You can do that from DC to the summit. I know the building's probably based in New York, if the building's actually anywhere in the game. They might have put it in the sky for all we know. But wherever it's based, they didn't need to force it behind the New York expansion. It 100% didn't have to be there. I'm going to go into this one. It's the very bottom of my list, but I'm going to get it out of the way because the last one I need to talk about is by far the most important. It's probably the longest one we're going to talk about, but I'll try and keep it as short as I possibly can. So this bottom one, exotics can randomly drop whilst you're playing this mode. I had 2 lots of the Ninja Bike knee pads today. Targeted loot was knee pads. So targeted loot will at some point become assault rifles, however long it takes. But I really don't think they're going to put the bighorn in this mode. I don't think we'll see the bighorn drop from this mode. I think they're going to keep it to the strongholds, which is not fair. Because when it come out, they said the bighorn is locked behind legendary difficulty, not behind the strongholds. And you play legendary difficulty in this summit mode. So we're going to have to wait and see for that one. But the last thing I want to talk about is Ridgeway's Pride, the exotic chest. Because they never fucking told us how this chest works, how you obtain it. They had 2 waves of the PTS, and every single video you see out there right now, more than likely, is going to be PTS footage. I can tell you one YouTuber right now that's used PTS footage to showcase how to get this chest, and that is nothing but skills. He hasn't gone through this mode and obtained this himself. I can tell you right now, for console players and PC players that don't know, what the developers did with this mode, create 100 floors in apparently what's a skyscraper. It really isn't. Because for some reason, whatever reason, the higher you get in the skyscraper, the bigger the floors get. And I mean, these areas get huge. It doesn't resemble a skyscraper at all. It doesn't feel like you're in one at any moment in time. But what they did is they cut out half of their mode. They gave players the ability to go straight into that lobby on the day of release and start at floor 51. If you have done that, well done, because you now need to go back through and play the other difficulties too. You have to play the floors lower than 51 if you are looking for that chest. I'm pretty sure right now the only reason to be playing this mode is to obtain that chest. The reason you have to go back and play those lower difficulties is because what you need to do in order to obtain this is you have to get an exotic component out of crates. You have to get them for each difficulty in the mode. So one for normal, hard, challenging, heroic, legendary. You have, I think, a 20% chance of getting an exotic component. I've played this mode from floor 1 to 100. I am missing the normal, hard and challenging exotic components. The only ones I have is heroic and legendary. All of us have the legendary, so we've skipped those floors out. But now what we have to do is go and grind the lower levels in order to get these exotic components. The chests I'm talking about, you need, or as far as I'm aware, you need a summit access key to open up these chests, these crates. You will only get a crate every 3 floors. You have to find the key, or as far as I'm aware you have to. I'm not entirely sure, because I'm guessing people have opened these crates and then they're finding the keys after and going, well, what are these keys for? I'm pretty sure the keys are for the crates. But let's just say they are, and we'll go with that. So you're playing through, you're on floor 1, normal difficulty. You go to floor 4, you found the access key, which is probably going to be found on floor 4 or 3, or I don't know. It's going to be found before the chest, just put it that way. And whenever you've got to a floor where there's an elevator for a soft checkpoint every 3 levels, there will be a room to open up one of these boxes. Or sometimes the box is right in front of the elevator. You just have to look around for it. It shouldn't be that hard to find. But you go in, you're floor 1, you get up to floor 4, you find the key, you open this crate, you don't get the exotic component. You then have to continue, do the same thing on floor 7, then again on floor 10. If you don't get it within that playthrough of 1 to 10, when you get to 11, take the elevator back down to floor 1, start again. You have to get all 5 of the exotic components, 1 from each of the difficulties, then you have to progress to floor 100. The way the developers told us it would work is you get to floor 100, you get a project quest, or the crafting quest, project, whatever. You get one of those, and then you go back through, you do the little challenges, you get your piece of gear. You get your Ridgeway's Pride chest. But there is no project once you clear 100. Doesn't work like that. You have to have all 5 of these exotic components and take those exotic components to floor 100. I'm not sure if you have to take down the hunters. I'm not sure if you have to complete the entire floor, but you at least need to get the exotic components and play from floors 91 all the way up to 100 in order to grab this project. Then, according to PTS footage, I'm not entirely sure if it's changed from the PTS, what you have to do after that is ridiculous. You have to donate a weapon with the sadist talent. You have to donate a gear piece with the perfectly unbreakable talent. You have to donate an exotic component. Not too hard. You might have to farm for the gear for the weapon with the sadist talent. Check your vendors and stuff, they might have them in there. But then it's the second part of the project, because that first part only unlocks the second piece. Once you've done the second piece, you get the blueprint for it. Or, as I said, according to the PTS. So what do you have to do exactly to complete that second part of the project? Every single enemy faction in the game, besides the Black Tusk actually, you have to take down a named enemy. So, named hyenas, true sons, outcasts, cleaners, rikers. You have to take down 3 named enemies from those factions. Then you have to donate keys from each of those factions, 3 of them, and also 3 Black Tusk keys. But then what you need to do is neutralize 3 rogue agents. So that again is RNG. But then you also have to neutralize 3 hunters. I don't know if you can use the hunters that are in the open world, and I also don't know if you kill a hunter, does it count for your friends too? That's a couple of things I'm not sure about. I will find out about them soon. And just know that there's probably going to be an angry rant if it's only solo progression. Because I play this in a group, that's how I enjoy it. And if I kill a hunter and it doesn't count for Pete, Lewis or Con, or they kill a hunter and it doesn't count for me, I'm going to be fuming. Absolutely fuming, because this will require so much more time. I know I could go do it solo, but I don't want to. I want to play in a group. This game is designed for solo or group play, so make it fair for either one. So how it's going to work, if you, let's just say the open world hunters don't count, or you've already gone and you've experienced, encountered all of those hunters, you are locked to the hunters in the summit. How this is going to work is, you go through, you find all 5 exotic components, you go to the top, you take the project, you complete the first part, then you go back into the summit. You're probably going to have to do some floors below 81 to get these named bosses. Or, I mean, missions might be better if you can do it in the open world, but we're going to say you can't do it in the open world. You have to go through and get named bosses. These named bosses do not spawn often in this mode. In fact, I think you only get a named boss every 10 floors. But if that is the case, farm normal. Don't play anything higher. Not going to be worth it. It's going to take even longer. I don't think this will lock you to Summit, but we're going to have to wait and see until I've got my hands on it tomorrow. But you need to take down all of these named bosses. After getting the exotic components, going to floor 100, getting the project, doing the first part of the project, you have to go back in, and regardless of whether you want to or not, if you want this chest, and this chest does look very powerful, it applies bleed when enemies are within a certain distance, I think it's 10 meters. And then any enemies that are bleeding within 10 meters will give you some of your armor back. So it's like an SMG sort of run and gun chest, or that's how I'm seeing it. And it seems very, very powerful. There are a couple of problems with it being powerful. It's probably going to get fucking nerfed into the ground. But also at the same time, there's not going to be many people that are running this because of the amount of time, effort, and skill level and stuff that this requires. It's not easy at all. But you have to, once you've done all that and you're on the second part of the project, you have to take down all of these named bosses. Then you have to take down more hunters. So you've gone to 100 to grab the project. Then if it doesn't work in the open world, or you've got rid of all the hunters on your map and between your friend group, you have to go back onto floor 91 up to 100 again. All the bugs, progression blockers that will force you to wipe, the server restarts, the maintenances, whatever they fancy doing to fuck you over, you have to beat all of that and then go take down the hunters again. Then if it's solo progression and you're doing it in a group, you've got to do it again and again and again and again until you all have it. This could possibly, depending how it works like fully, this could take you hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to get your hands on this, especially across an entire group. So not only have they spent months on a game mode to put through several different servers before putting it in the live build, and it comes out really, really broken, like I'm talking stupidly broken. Not only have they done that and copy pasted a lot of it, but they've given you absolutely, like pretty much absolutely no fucking rewards at all for the time and effort you're putting in. Again, they've locked stuff behind the content, and this content, only a small amount of players are going to complete it. It's going to take a long time, it's going to be boring, tedious, stressful, grindy, all that sort of stuff. The summit, you can fast travel there from DC. I don't think that's the right thing to do, because that just shows they could have based it anywhere in the fucking world, just put it somewhere in the game, and just said, here you go, everyone can play. But they locked it behind the expansion and still let you fast travel from DC. They never told us about the exotic chest and exactly how it works, so they've tried, well, I say tried, they pulled it off, they were successful. They've made us go through Summit several times, so they get their approval for it being highly replayable content. Not only that, the exotic chest was actually broken when it was first released. They had to do a maintenance to fix it, along with progression blockers in missions for the League, and just your expansion progress. The normal exotics of the game can randomly drop, but your targeted loot is locked to one thing for the entire day throughout all 100 floors. And then, as I said at the start, I did kind of enjoy it. The mode has so much potential, but they don't know what they're doing as developers. It's just going to sit there. I don't think they'll update it often at all. I don't think they'll change any stuff in there. For an example, grenade spam and drone spam in the legendary floors is ridiculous. We also had the White Tusk just reskinned outcasts. We had them all firing flamethrowers. Progression blocker after progression blocker. It's bad. So yeah, at the end of all that, my word sticks. Like, it's a complete waste of time. If you want to be sitting there grinding for hours for a chest piece, then be my guest. But I really, really hope and pray they do not nerf this chest. If it is as powerful as it seems, then keep it that way. This is possibly, well, actually, no. I wouldn't say this is necessarily tougher to get than the Eagle Bearer or the Ravenous, because they're based on like a 0.1% chance to drop out of the weekly crate in the raid. But I'd say it's up there with tough to get hold of. It's a long, long grind just for one exotic piece. So do not go and fuck it like you did the Eagle Bearer. And another thing I'd like to quickly point out whilst I've got the time, just at the end of the video, just very quickly, if you are a content creator, start standing for the game you've paid money for. Stop just accepting everything they throw out, because I'm the only person that's mentioned bugs in this mode, and I'm not the only person that's experiencing them. Absolutely nowhere near the only person. There are so many people experiencing bugs, and us as content creators have the biggest voices. There are a couple of content creators out there that can directly speak to the developers, and the devs might listen. But they're not saying anything, they're just arse-licking and sugarcoating everything. Oh, your mode is amazing. Well, no, it has the potential to be amazing, but they're not utilising that potential. They're not using it at all. They're just lying and just basically taking a piss out of their community, taking us all for granted. And we paid them money to play this. As many times as you want to say it's free. It's free if you own a paid expansion. But that's going to do it for the video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about the mode in the comments, and whether you agree, disagree, like the mode, don't like the mode. Anything like that, let me know in the comments. But that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.